which, just to inform our audiences, is the New Era Flat Owners Welfare Association. The organization works together to empower residents, educate them about how they stand. It also tells them more about what their rights are. This is the Noida Extension Flat Owners Association. As we just said, let's go over right now to Shubhra to understand more. Shubhra, you were telling us a little while earlier about how your organization has worked in the past to empower citizens, empower residents against what you call the nexus. And this is a nexus that's present in various parts of the country, not just in Noida. But Shubhra, tell our audiences, how have those who live in the area around the building, how have they been compensated? Have they been provided any compensation for the long legal battle they've had to fight?
Not so far. I must say that as far as compensation is concerned, this is still a very grey area and no clear initiative either from the authorities or the builder or the government also for that matter. This is one area where we as an organization, we as a forum, we've been putting forth our demands for clarity for a long while now. But compensation is one area where things have not moved with the kind of speed we would have liked to see. I would say it's still very much grey. Things have been put in process, but again, I'll take this opportunity to highlight the issue. You see, the reason why we are talking here is because of this demolition, but we all understand that it should not have reached this stage in the first place. It should ideally should have been handled much earlier, and there was no reason why. And in future, I'm hoping that no other project, meaning this should truly be taken as an example, and the builders, they should be very, very careful. The has the opaqueness and the non-accountable procedures that usually are followed. Our forum NEFOA, we have been constantly educating. We keep meeting the buyers at different platforms. We keep meeting the residents at different platforms, and take all necessary steps to educate them more on their own rights and how they can demand from the authority or from the builder. And in case there are issues that are not addressed, then what is the legal course available and how can they fight those battles further? But again, as I said, it's extremely important that these processes are, so far they were quite opaque. So therefore, it is very important that they are made participatory. For example, beginning from Lucknow to this Gautam Buddha Nagar, the twin cities of Noida, Greater Noida, we keep trying to persuade the authority as well as all other agencies involved, including our battle in the Supreme Court, where we are party to several cases that are currently fought either against Amrapali or several other builders. So we keep pushing forth this point that all these platforms and the processes, they need to become participatory. It is important to have the buyers, owners, residents' voice included in these processes. You cannot make it accountable unless you include the primary stakeholder here. So that's a basic point that we keep trying to push wherever and whatever platform we can. And as I initially mentioned, compensation is a gray area. We keep demanding from the authority, from the government, and from all other agencies who've been brought in now. Now the Supreme Court is also very much there. So to ease out the process of getting compensation for the residents, because it is quite cumbersome as of now.
All right. Shubhra, thank you so much for bringing us those details. Shubhra, are you able to hear me?
Please tell me.
Studio, are you able to hear me? Hi, all right. Shubhra, stay with us. I want to go over also to another guest that we have with us on the show that our audiences may or may not be aware of, so I'll just re-update our audiences. We also have former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, Vikram Singh. He's also with us on the show this afternoon. Sir, thank you so much for staying with us. Sir, correct me if I'm wrong. Earlier, while you were telling us your answer, did you also say that you had once been a resident of Emerald Court, which is the building right next to Supertech?
I still am a resident of Supertech Emerald Court for the last 10 years. It's a different matter that day before yesterday, I have come to Lucknow just by way of abundant precaution. I continue to be a resident of Supertech Emerald Court, Sector 93A. Yes.
All right, sir. So that's exactly why I want to come to you now, because we're getting to hear from you in two capacities. One, obviously, as the former DGP, but one also someone who's so closely involved with this story. So how have you watched this play out over the last 5 years? Tell our audiences, please.
It is one story of blood, toil, sweat and tears. I must compliment Mr. Udayban Tewatia and his wonderful team of stalwarts who fought relentlessly. Otherwise, I thought I have never seen this level of resolute battle against it. Is something as akin to David versus Goliath. And yes, David won. Not only the probable David, but only the David in the super court in the form of RWA. It was an uphill task. It was as if that we had been surrounded from all sides by the negative forces and the forces of evil and corruption. And they say you don't stand a ghost of a chance. But yes, miracles do happen. And this is one miracle that is in front of you, that the mightiest of the mighty, from whose hands people in power and authority were eating out, he was decimated. I say it's a miracle and a bounty from the Almighty. Let us not be ungrateful. But yes, this edifice of shame, conspiracy, complicity is coming down, and it is giving an unambiguous message to all those corrupt elements. Satyamev Jayate. Satya may not always win, but ultimately truth will always win. And this is the living example. People who travel third class for years together, elderly senior citizens, to go from Delhi to Allahabad High Court and came back. And here you have the victory. The Almighty has his own ways of rewarding those who are struggling a very uphill task. And this is one such example. Let it be known that yes, when you are on the right cause, howsoever high and mighty the adversary may be, he has to bite the dust. But yes, the complicity that happened at all corners, whether at the Noida authority, at the political level, at the state level, that is a crying shame. And I still again would recommend that a CBI inquiry should be ordered against this ugly and naked nexus.
All right, sir, thank you for that context. Let's go over right now back to our other guest, Shubhra Singh. I just want to remind our audiences, she's the secretary of the NEFOWA. Shubhra, I want to understand from you, for our audiences who've been tracking this story in particular, they might know that for residents in the Delhi NCR region, stories like this, stories of a nexus between contractors, builders, nexuses that end up affecting ordinary residents, these are stories that aren't entirely unknown, right from Gurgaon to Delhi to Noida. In your own view, with the view that you have of the situation, over the last 5 years, has the situation gotten better? Because we did see a sudden spurt in developments across the NCR region, or has it in fact gotten worse? Tell us more.
Well, no, I must say that definitely it has improved. I will not definitely say that it has gone worse. It has improved. I think about 10 years back, situation was quite bad, meaning the kind of stories of suffering that we've heard on our forum itself have been heart-wrenching. And in several cases, we hear of cases where, old couple, they have bought flats and they could not even, they don't live today to live in what they had invested or bought. So about a decade back, really bad. As I was mentioning earlier, it was all about this opaqueness and this non-accountable approach that usually the authority, the builders and any other agency, some of the government agencies involved as well, it was quite bad. But today I must say that things have improved for sure. It's not the same anymore. We do feel that there is a huge scope of improvement further, and but at least participation has begun. There are, I would, from NEFOWA's perspective, for example, as far as RERA is concerned, or any other couple of other platforms.